Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano video or Cardano live stream. And it's great to be sitting down once again with Navjit from IAGON. It's been a while since we've done the last one. There's been a lot going on with them. So Navjit, thanks very much for taking the time to come on.
Thanks, Paul. I'm glad to be back. And, yeah, we got a lot of updates coming up for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this. And as usual, anyone coming into these for the first time, please do share them out. Ask your questions down below. I always prefer when it is community questions coming in here rather than me driving everything here. We want to cover what the community wants to know. So obviously there's a few things that I want to dive into myself and get a bit more information on, but I definitely want to hear from people out there. So please do share it out. That helps more people come in. The more people that are here, the better the conversation I think we can have overall. And anyone watching this back, not live, there will be timestamps down below to the different topics we cover, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of them. So, Navjit, I'm sure most people coming into this know what IAGON is, fitting into Depin and where everything is there. But can you give the extremely high-level elevator pitch of IAGON, and then we'll go into all the different aspects of it as we go.
Yeah, so IAGON's AI shared storage and a compute economy. So basically like an Airbnb for storage and compute. We take idle resources from anyone and everywhere. That includes storage and compute, and match them up with end users' needs. So the unique aspect about IAGON is we're learning the behavior of each provider in terms of storage and compute. In terms of their performance, availability, their trustability, and location, of course, and match them up accordingly to the user's needs. And that's IAGON in a sense as an infrastructure kind of platform. And we're building, let's say, adapts and apps around the infrastructure to drive the adoption.
Nice. Yeah, so I suppose the last time we talked, it was primarily storage, decentralized storage. Compute has now gone live since that. And I've seen a few other products being mentioned going into, see Lord here has mentioned the hardware use case. So we'll get on to that in a few minutes. First question, Coinbase. What the community asks, I have to ask. But
yeah, no worries. I mean, no, usually when these bigger announcements happen, they don't happen like that. They just reach out, and then they reach out to the project and potentially get listed, or they just list and announce later, right? So we haven't been in touch with Coinbase. Well, we have been in touch with a few other first, let's say, tier one exchanges, but those discussions happen over a long period, and there's a lot of fees involved in some cases. So some cases, for example, especially that aren't out of tier one, we don't negotiate with anymore, because we are listed currently on BitGet, BitTrue, Gate, and Bitpanda, for example. Some pretty good exchanges currently, and we're not actively looking for listing on these kind of exchanges. But if there is an opportunity, the main thing the tier ones look for are trading volume, and we don't have that currently in terms of the volume that they're looking for. They're looking for over 1 mil to 2 mil. Trading volume daily, I think that's right now out of reach for us.
Yeah, I think we all like to see centralized exchange listings, but not all of them are good ones. Like when you say there, you're not concentrating outside of the tier one now. I think that's a good strategy, because you have to, even if you don't pay big fees to get listed, you still have to provide liquidity to the exchange a lot of times. And sometimes that can just end up getting sold off and doesn't have the impact that people are expecting, and can nearly put a bad image for people on that exchange looking at the token if they see it come on and then it just falls away. But yeah, I think for now there's a decent amount, and we do need to see more trading volume as a whole for Cardano assets and coming in that will help the listing, because it's a hot topic among not just yourselves, but among any project on Cardano. It's always one of the questions that comes up. The next one up here from RL is, how do you unstake IAG for node operators?
Yeah, so basically you can unstake at any time, but it's a 3-month waiting period. So after 3 months, you're able to kind of receive the IAGON tokens back. So it's not so difficult to unstake. Actually, it should be within the app itself, and it should be fairly straightforward.
Yeah, that's probably something I can create a tutorial on anyway, a video tutorial showing how to do that process. And I presume that's to protect the network, that there is the locking period. I can't just unstake today, and if I had a lot of the storage I provided being used by the network, it could be harmful.
Correct. I mean, if you think about it as an end user, right? When you're using the platform as a storage, for example, for a subscription, you subscribe to let's say a 1 terabyte subscription, and all of a sudden someone doesn't want to provide that 1 terabyte anymore. And then, you have to wait, you immediately basically lose all your kind of files. So the 3-month waiting period is that the user gets some time to, let's say, if that happens, migrate his or her files. Of course, we have a big enough network to, let's say, migrate the files to other node operators. But for current, it's just more so to protect the users and make sure that the files are able to migrate to another node operator.
Yeah, I was going to add that bit on, that it's important to mention that with the way that it's sharded and everything, the users' files aren't at risk. But if too many people started coming in and was easy, it's a potential attack vector too. So that's why you need to have security in there. And I see more people coming in. Anyone coming in, do ask your questions in the comments down below. Want to get as many questions as possible to throw at Navjit when we have him here, and do share it out to bring other people in. When IAGON run on mobile?
Yeah, we won't be running a node on the mobile anytime soon, but it'll be possible to manage your nodes via mobile. So we have the, let's say, the mobile version of IAGON coming out in a different package, which would mean that it's the messaging app, right? So what we're doing with the decentralized messaging app, it's going to be called Volo. And we released some branding aspects of it just recently as well. Plan to release this December, and basically we'll be able to message between other people, and same as, for example, Telegram or WhatsApp, but you'll be able to connect your IAGON account to it and also manage eventually your node from there. So basically just viewing your node stats and make sure you're accessing it, maybe even stop or let's say run your node again, things like that, or you want to restart your node. So simple things, not like heavy duty where you're running your node on your phone. Maybe when the devices are ready for that kind of thing, that could be possible, but at this moment, just the app. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and just on that's encrypted messaging that's coming in December, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay.
Volo. Yeah.
It's nice to see new products coming out that we initially hadn't seen from the project. Another one here on the Lenfi loan. So for anyone that isn't familiar, this is where you put up collateral and got out a loan from the community that was all paid back and everything. But how did you find that process? And the question here from Damak is it a scalable process to repeat?
I mean, we don't want to have a loan just for having a loan in that case. But I mean, it's scalable. Depends on what you mean by scalable. I think that it's also you putting your kind of, it's also risky in a sense for a project. If you don't have the funding and you can't come up with the funding, then you could get liquidated, right? The tokens that you put as collateral. It's definitely possible to have it scalable depending on how you approach when you want to put up the loan, and depending on the price of IAG and ADA at that point. You have to think of a lot of variables, and we knew that we could pay back in a very quick time, and we did pay back the 2 loans very quickly. So we were kind of sure, but it is scalable. If we wanted to kind of get more funding, we could definitely do it and provide some collateral. But we want to be sure that it's easily payable and not risk any liquidation on our end.
Yeah, like there's a lot of factors to consider, and it's great to have solutions like that as a stopgap for the project. If you know something is coming in a month or something like that allows you to pay it back.
Yeah.
But crypto volatility, it's always lots to be considered.
Yeah.
Another one then on doing anything with Copy.
I mean, we have tried to reach out to Copy a few while back. We haven't reached out to them recently this year. We reached out to them last year, actually. Yeah, maybe there's something that we could work together on, but I mean, we'd be open to collaborate with Copy if there's something specifically needed for storage and compute. Yeah.
Yeah, Copy's another project I talked to quite a bit with Rob and Josh over there, doing lots of good things with the nodes that they're doing. So for me, it'd be great to see two projects that I like doing something together. Then we have IAGON. How is it going to help decentralize Cardano? Many nodes running on AWS. So I suppose, will it be possible when we have decentralized storage and compute for the likes of me to run a relay node or a full node on IAGON?
Yes, it definitely will be, and that's one of the goals, right? To have an easy plug and play Cardano node option on the compute. So basically, when the compute is up, right now it's up on beta, so you can test it. It's closed beta actually, so there are people from the hackathon already kind of joining on the compute side and trying it out. Basically, the goal here is to kind of create plugins that are easy to run on the compute nodes. And one of them could be like a Cardano node that you could probably potentially run, and that definitely a use case, and making it more decentralized, meaning that it's running on the infrastructure that is distributed.
Okay, yeah, I think that's it would be a great stage to get to if we did have even a small percentage to start of the Cardano network running on something like IAGON, which is decentralized, and look, it's where a lot of us want to go in the long term. Next, we have, I'm going to pronounce the name wrong, Depin.
Yes.
It's another Depin project on Cardano. Any plans to work with them?
Currently, no plans of working with Depin.
I think you provide a lot of the same products to the market. So
I think they're focusing currently on a GPU, which we're not currently focusing on, but we will be focusing on GPU as well, and we will have our plug and play nodes that will provide GPU and CPU later on. So it will be something similar along that line.
Okay, nice. And David, with one of the questions I had in mind too, is there a date for staking? So non-node staking. So at the minute, for anyone not familiar, if you provide storage to the network, you can stake your IAG token with that, but there will be an option in the future to stake IAG if you're not providing the storage as well.
Yeah, so we are currently being audited by TX Pipe. So it's a very, let's say, big undertaking, the marketplace that we're doing. The marketplace meaning staking. Just when I refer to marketplace, so it's clear. It's going to be released hopefully in September. And we are basically working on currently the audits, and then we're going to have a test net hopefully in August, which everyone can try out. It's very new to Cardano, the system, very unique in a sense. There are some parts that are being used as well that are available on Cardano, but the way the whole structure is, the architecture is very new. And I think that's why we're going to take a thorough audit check at it. It's going to take a couple of months to do a full audit and make sure that everything is run nicely. So basically in this staking, you can delegate your IAGON tokens to increase, let's say, storage on other node operators. So something similar to Cardano, where you're kind of like delegating your ADA to pools and earning some kind of margins from those pools. Here, you're able to delegate your IAGON tokens and earn some profit margins depending on what the node operator is offering. So a node operator, for example, can put out an offer. I need this many tokens. I'm able to supply this much storage to the network. They might have the physical device, but maybe are lacking the IAGON tokens. And there's a lot of IAGON holders that are kind of sitting idle with their IAG tokens, can use that to delegate to the node operator to increase their capacity, for example.
Yeah, so you're kind of matching up the two sides of someone who might have the technical ability and the hardware and mightn't have the IAG to maximize that hardware. So you can match up both, and both end up happy because they're both earning a bit extra. Then after that, and just on that will be into a smart contract, will it? The IAG goes into the smart contract like we do for when you provide a node?
Correct. Yeah. So it'll be in a smart contract, locked for the same amount, but it'll also be liquid in a sense, meaning that, so how this marketplace is unique, even when it's staked, you're able to sell that on a secondary market. So instead of waiting for the unlock period, you can sell that staked IAG to someone that's interested in buying IAG for a cheaper price, according to what you'll be purchasing IAG on the market at a discount because it's locked, right? So maybe you're willing to take on that locked IAG because you want to have a discounted price and you want to have it staked as well.
I really like that aspect in that things come up in life that you need to get funds quickly. And if you do, you're willing to take a bit of a cut on what you would on the open market. So I think it will encourage more people to get involved because they do have that. If they had to wait 3 months all the time, then it's a bit of somebody who mightn't like locking up for that long. Next, we have, and it's great to see all the questions coming in. Do keep them coming. The more that's coming in here, we're flying through them, hopefully getting the information out that people want. And do give the video a like, share it out. More questions, the better. Demak, with another one on the Nvidia startup program. Was there anything on that?
Yeah, so we had a talk with Nvidia as well, and once we have the GPU and CPU compute node rig out, maybe that's something that could be collaborated on with Nvidia when we're them providing. But we do have another source that provides Nvidia chips, so it's not necessarily needed. The reason why we applied for that program is more so to get their AI chips as well, in terms of the bigger H100s and the E100s on our devices, physical plug-in node devices, so we could buy it at maybe a discounted price or a cheaper price to build these devices. But right now, we're not at that phase right now. We're going to be waiting for that in a few months after that. But yes, it's still ongoing.
Okay, good to hear. Thomas, how's it going? Vincent, any update from the Bare Metal Partnership? Sorry for the
Yeah, I talked with them on Thursday, actually, last Thursday. It's going to be hopefully announced soon, but it's up to them, really.
Great. We're not getting the leak here.
No.
That's as much of a leak as we're getting.
Yeah, that's the one you're like, you got it hints. Yeah.
I need people to keep asking them questions to try and encourage the leaks to come out here. So how has the demand for storage been versus what's being provided?
The demand for storage currently, we're using around 250 terabytes, between 250 to 300 terabytes for subscriptions currently. And only about 10% of that is being utilized by the subscribers.
Okay. Yeah, I know that wasn't the big push initially anyway to get end users. It was getting the network up and tested, and that will come.
Yeah, I mean, the goal right now is to expand the network as much as possible. 6 petabytes is not enough to drive the adoption for different products that we have in line. So I think that right now the focus is on the infrastructure and getting the infrastructure where it needs to be to drive the adoption, because then once we have that infrastructure, it's just much easier to onboard customers.
Yeah, and if you get any bigger partnerships, then they could eat up what the network has fairly quickly with the demand. So Oral says it'd be good for a video tutorial on claiming rewards. Yeah, I will put that on my list to put something together. Salmander, good to see you. Stake IAG, does that mean add liquidity? No, this would be separate. So adding liquidity, I presume you mean on a DEX where you add liquidity to a trading pair, to an AMM DEX. So you have to provide both IAG and ADA. For staking, it would be just providing the IAG and you get a return. I suppose the return is dependent on the supply and demand on the network.
Yeah, I mean, the liquidity is staking IAG is much different than the liquidity, right? So adding liquidity, we do have a liquidity program going on right now, which we're adding liquidity to the DEXs every month. So what we're doing is if you delegate to IAG L1 or IAG L2, those are the pools, or provide liquidity to one of the DEXs, you get rewards in return. And in return for the rewards, we're collecting the ADA rewards from the pools and using that to purchase or buy back IAG and provide a ADA IAG liquidity pair on some of the DEXs. And we just like Paul showed, we just did a 80K ADA worth buyback on IAG, and basically we'll be providing that to one of the exchanges. And we've grown our liquidity substantially since this program started last year. We've grown from about 1 million ADA to almost 4 million ADA in liquidity in total liquidity on the dexes. So it's really helped gain some attention and attraction, and provided a kind of stable base for trading for the community.
Yeah, it's good to see, and I think that helps. Touching back on what we said earlier about the centralized exchanges and trading volume, the more liquidity there, the better experience it is for people trading. And I know you do have a USDM pair too. I think hopefully over the next year, we'll see a lot more Cardano trading going towards that, like we see in other ecosystems where it's against stablecoin pairs. Where am I on the questions? They started coming in quicker there. So yeah, this one here on, I suppose, slashing is the main part of it. If a node runs into problems, is the staked IAG at risk, or is there any penalties?
So we have a tiered system. It's more so not penalizing people right away. So first is kind of penalizing the rewards per se, and in terms of rewards, how many rewards you get, because it's depending on performance, availability, and things like that. So if the performance score or the reputation score is lower, the rewards are less. And then we have the kind of a drop down from there. And the last thing we do is go at the staked IAG, but that's not, we just remove the kind of node or ask the node, and we give them plenty of opportunities kind of to increase the network. We don't want to de-incentivize or slash staking mechanisms, right? It's just want to decrease the rewards. I think that's the best way to encourage productivity from the node. Instead of taking away their staked IAG. Staked IAG is more like a trust as a bond between the network. So you're putting your kind of funds where, providing the IAG and providing the storage and saying, hey, I'm a good actor. That's more so a trust bond rather than you kind of staking your IAG and kind of losing it to make sure that's not how the system is catered to.
Yeah, so if my kid comes into the office here and trips across the lead and unplugs the server, it's not going to lose my IAG.
No.
So NFT airdrop for node operators?
Yes, I mean, we have been so backlogged. I think that was one of the things that we were supposed to do for a while back. It's on our mind still, but there's so many priorities right now that we think that are more important than the NFT airdrop, that we've been kind of pushing it back, and hopefully we have some kind of room in around September when we have a lot more space to work and kind of fix up all the backlogs we have on the NFT. So we'll work on that. Hopefully that comes in September, but we're not sure because there's a lot of things that are coming up in terms of DApp development.
Yep. And then Dave asks here, reflecting back since the launch, what would you say is IAGON's biggest achievement so far?
I just reflecting, that's a good question, Dave. I mean, Dave always comes up with the good questions. Reflecting back, what's the biggest achievement so far? I would say, honestly, the patent, it just makes us, I think that's for me, the biggest achievement for IAGON. It's because it just distinguishes our originality as a project, as the uniqueness of the project. It's very hard to obtain a patent if people don't know it, and also especially when you have a patent like this, which covers a lot of ground. I think that it's very hard to achieve. Of course, there's a lot of other achievements we think that are big, but I think that we're not even there yet in terms of the biggest achievements. Once we gain adoption, I think that will overcome any other kind of biggest achievement. But looking back, I would say patent is the most, because it gives us originality, gives us uniqueness, distinguishment from other projects that are in the space.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. And looking at what's there and what the roadmap is, there's a lot of the foundations are in now, and it's really, I think the next year is going to be a lot bigger than, say, even the previous 2 years in terms of what we see from our perspective. Obviously, from you on the dev side, seeing behind the scenes, there's a lot going on, but from our side and products coming out to be used by people in the Web3 space, I think that's going to be big. Lordy asks on details on how deep the Nuvola partnership is for the compute side, since cross-chain operation is their expertise. Are IAGON cross-chain compute plans in the works? So I suppose first up, Nuvola partnership. And then is IAGON looking cross-chain?
So Nuvola is a great partner. It's one of our, we're very close with Nuvola, and we're working closely in terms of the business dev there. We're looking to involve more business partnerships, enterprise partnerships to onboard to use the storage. They're coming up with their own storage product lines, and that's going to utilize the IAGON network. So it's a very symbiotic relationship there. And in terms of the compute and in terms of cross-chain or chain agnostic is definitely in the plans. So we definitely want to be chain agnostic. We're an infrastructure project. We cater to everyone. Right now, we're focused on kind of building on Cardano and making sure that the product is fine-tuned and ready. We want to keep the token economy on Cardano. So if that's possible with the partner chains, we will keep on doing that. We are kind of currently working with the partner chains, IOG, in terms of one of the catalyst proposals, which is the Network Explorer. And there could be kind of a relationship there that could happen where partner chains can be used as some kind of bridge to the economy. So we'll see how that works out. It's too early to say, but we're definitely going to be chain agnostic. Yes.
Great. So what's next? How is the upcoming? We touched on this a while ago. Feel free to share screenshots. But I think we touched on it that December is the timeline for that.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell the marketing team to share more screenshots. We can definitely share that later on.
Yeah, I think the IAGON, in terms of Twitter or X nowadays, is one of the most active teams out there. It's great to see. Anytime you tag IAGON or anything like that, they're always very active in all replies. Will it be on the App Store?
Yes, it will be on the App Store and the Galaxy Store as well. So I think that Galaxy is also called a store. I'm not sure. But yes, so both stores, yes.
Great. Some love for Dave over there too.
Yeah.
Feeling you, Dave X thread coming up. That was back to the question earlier, I think. Okay, here's one on the House Partner Chain. You kind of touched on this, or the question was probably in just before that. Remember your team? Oh yeah, this was on the healthcare records for. Yeah. So
we have developed a pitch deck to Midnight on the healthcare concept. So we're in touch with Midnight on this, and we're looking at possibly, hopefully, pushing it a little bit closer. Right now, again, we have a lot of things in the pipeline, so we haven't been completely focused on the healthcare data yet. Because Midnight is still not fully mature, so we haven't really been focusing on this yet. But we are in talks with them, and I actually had a call with Midnight last week actually, and we're going to be sending them a pitch deck on this soon, and hopefully we can collaborate on this in the coming weeks or months.
Okay, let's see. Next one we have. Yeah, this is a good one, actually. With the recent data breaches that we've seen, have any companies contacted you based on that? Or what's your own thoughts on that, I suppose? We see it, unfortunately, we see it more and more nowadays, is data breaches out there. And that's why it's a good thing for IAGON's business model. It would push people towards that. But
yeah. So there have been companies that contacted us. And again, like, we're taking a very, let's say, laid back, or maybe not laid back approach is correct. We're taking it very carefully in terms of steps we take, because once you do start onboarding customers, you have to have a customer relationship, good customer relationship, and good support for that customer. So we want to be in that position to provide that support. And we currently don't feel comfortable onboarding people as a customer in terms of enterprise level yet. We can cater to retail consumers, no problem, I think. I think the enterprises require a little bit more hot storage, which is, for example, accessing data all the time, and Network Explorer still isn't ready yet on that side. So once that is available, then we can cater to hot storage as well, meaning that you can access data readily instead of having a cold storage, which currently we have right now, right? So I think you need both options for enterprise users, and that's one of the things that is, let's say, stopping us from continuing the talks and progressing from there. But it's not to say we're not like saying, hey, we can't cater to you. We're saying that, hey, let's work on a pilot together and go from there. That way we can kind of understand what their needs are and kind of cater to them and go along and work with them on a proper solution for that. So we have 2 pilots right now. 1 pilot should be onboarded hopefully very soon. And if we are able to share that information, we will share that with you.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to hear that there's outreach, or I suppose coming into you from that side of things too. On the Explorer and that was just in Catalyst. It was just announced, 2-3 weeks ago now, the results. You got funded. Great to see you had 2 proposals. Is there a timeline on the Explorer, or what's happening
so
there?
The timeline we're trying to push, what we're going to do is with the milestones, we're going to push the Network Explorer first, and hopefully have a version ready by early Q1, and then focus on Stature after that. So obviously continuously, but we're going to be focusing majority of our manpower on Network Explorer first, because we think that's an important part, or let's say a piece of the puzzle to make everything work and onboard, not just Web 2 customers, but Web 3 customers as well.
Okay, yeah, I suppose it's another important part of the foundations, like we talked about already. See, we have Raul in here from Nuvola. Good to see you, Raul. We should catch up sometime fairly soon as well. I think it was before you launched anything. We had a chat originally, so we're good to catch up. Joel says here, where do you see IAGON in 5 years' time?
Well, yeah. So I have a talk with hopefully a large enterprise in everyone's mind. I think. Well, I can't say the name. I don't want to leak anything, but we have a large customer enterprise that we're talking to today. And if that goes well, I think that in 5 years, I think even we don't have to wait 5 years to be a big company or a big decentralized cloud company. I think that we want to be the leading cloud provider in Web3. And that's kind of our goal in at least 5 years. And hopefully one of the leading, let's say, cloud storage companies, and not just cloud storage, cloud computing, which would cover storage and computing in Web3. So that's the goal.
Okay. Yeah, that's a goal I can go along with. And just on, you said about Web3, how has the Web2 side been, or have you looked at that at all yet, or is it still mainly concentrating on Web3?
No, I mean, the customer base is definitely on the Web2 side, in terms of the larger customer base. But when I'm speaking about us being the largest cloud computing in Web3, I mean, as in the technology and the architecture behind IAGON, right? As a Web3 company that has the Web3 technology behind it. But definitely we're looking at both sides on the customer base. So we're looking at the Web3 and Web2. But we do believe that Web 2 is the one that is going to make us successful as a company.
Okay. There's one more question, then I have a few lined up, and we'll see if any more come in before we finish up then. Are you thinking about cooperation with an AI company, e.g. ASI, which is the merger of the 3 big ones recently? They have their own NewNet project, but do you see any chances for cooperation?
I mean, we're never going to close the door to anyone, and never going to say never. But currently, we're not thinking about any cooperation with any AI companies. We are currently building our own kind of storage and compute network, including GPU. We have our own plans on that, and then with the computing and the GPU power, we'll be able to definitely cater to AI and machine learning and different other training models as well.
Okay. Then can you see a future where individuals run their own storage computing companies out of their own homes, have storage container converted in a similar style? I suppose they could do that right now with IAGON, really, is if people actually bought the hardware and provide it to the network, especially when the new staking comes out where others could put up the IAG. But
yeah. It's definitely possible, I think. And in similar Bitcoin mining companies, right? But there will be different models, and we don't want to build everything. We just want to create some use cases to show the community or developers what can be built on the infrastructure, and drive that ecosystem from there. Because once you start building useful tools, I think the user adoption will come readily. And I think that one of the use cases could be, for example, consensus mining as well. Where you mine as a group, But it depends on what everyone wants to do. And once we have a DAO, then that DAO can decide on what to do with this idle capacities.
So let me see. So then, Joel, just to follow up to his question on Web3. So where do you see yourselves currently compared to other Web3 competitors?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we actually feel like we're always the underdogs for some reason. I mean, that's a good way of thinking. I think underdog mentality is definitely there. But there's one thing that we got going for us, which puts us in a completely different, let's say, field in our view, at least, is the patents. You know, that uniqueness, the distinguishability, the originality. You're not going to find that kind anywhere. And even if they're doing something similar to what we're doing, so I think that we think that we are in a good place compared to other Web3 competitors in the Depin space. Once we showcase that adoption and once we can reveal some of these pilot customers, I definitely think people will understand why.
Great. And Lordy's next question leads into where I want to go with the hardware device and a few things coming up in August. Any screenshots of the hardware device? All I have from Twitter at the minute is this here. So just for people that aren't familiar with what we're talking about here is, I can't even remember if we mentioned it. We've gone through so many topics, but you guys are going into not just the software space, you're pushing into the hardware side of things as well, where you are creating your own hardware device.
Yes, I think a lot of people ask for it in the community. And one thing that people want to realize is a device that's specifically optimal for IAGON as a network. And we've kind of taken that feedback and built a kind of a device that we think is going to be very competitive, not just in terms of specs, but in terms of price. It's going to be called IAGON Cyclone. There's going to be two versions of it. It's going to be Cyclone QS and Cyclone QS Pro. Both will have two options, one without hard drives and one with hard drives. And we'll give you the option of the optimal hard drive we think that should go. You can definitely choose the option with no hard drives and use the hard drives you think are best. But we will be presenting this at RareEvo, and we're going into this space because we think that this will create an easy onboarding, let's say, tool for people that really want to get into this, running a node as a storage or compute, and having it plug and play at home, very easy and simple to install.
Okay. Yeah, looking forward to more details on that from RareEvo. And just on that, will this be open to anybody to order, or will there be certain requirements? Or
I mean, the only requirement is we can recommend. We're going to have it we're going to have a pre-order page, and we're working on that right now. We're not sure when that is going to be ready, but basically you'll be able to assess which device is best for you based on your internet speed. So that's basically the only requirement. What we are going to be doing is there's going to be a limited amount of devices in the first batch. And we're going to prioritize current node operators and IAG holders first, meaning that the people that have nodes already and people that have IAG tokens will be put in kind of the priority line, if you will, in terms of the orders. And then it'll be open for everyone. But yeah, anyone can pre-order it.
Okay. And do we know the limits yet on the capacity of these, or will it be just dependent on the hard drives? Will there be certain capacity limits?
Right now, the Pro version, as far as the initial kind of benchmarking, is 18 terabytes in terms of the storage size. It's very quick. It's much quicker than any current market competitor that's similar in terms of price. And it's also much better. You can see we compared it with the Synology device. The specs are just, you won't find these specs anywhere. So definitely very, and it's going to also have a 3-year warranty, as far as I'm told. I don't think that will change, but it's 3-year manufacturing warranty as well. So you guys can, there's going to be warranties and refunds if, for example, something goes bad, not in terms of the hard drives because they have a different warranty, but the system itself. Yeah.
Okay, and who do I have to annoy to get bumped up the list to try and get my hands on one of these in Ireland?
I think definitely you can be on that list, Paul.
Okay, so looking then at, we talked about, so you mentioned RareEvo there. There's going to be more talk of the hardware stuff at RareEvo, but you also have a hackathon coming up. Do you want to cover what that is? You are sponsoring the hackathon and how that's going to work.
Yeah, so there's prizes up to 25K for the hackathon. We've already selected a group of finalists, which are going to be announced hopefully soon in terms of who they are. And basically what the hackathon is doing is trying to promote the compute side, which we just released as closed beta. So people are able to go on the compute and build dApps on top of the compute. Any applications that we think that are going to create more user activity, adoption, and people to use the platform are going to be built on top of the compute. So the hackathon was kind of, we have some applicants and finalists already finalized, and they will be presenting their presentation in RareEvo, and winners will be announced there.
Okay, great. So it is all closed off, and we're just waiting to see who's going to be in it now.
Yeah. So we're just going to announce the finalists soon, and basically they'll be there at the RareEvo event to present as they have until August 11th to finalize their submission. They had the initial deadline I think last week was the initial deadline, last week Monday. And they had to submit, and we already selected the finalists, and they've already been notified as well. So we haven't just announced it publicly, and once they're notified, they'll be presenting at RareEvo for the prizes. Yeah.
Nice. Maybe after RareEvo, if the projects are interested in, we could do a presentation here too to see what types of apps we're trying to build on IAGON then.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea, Paul, for sure.
When you're talking to them, you can put that to them. And if they're interested, we can set that up.
Yeah.
So what else we got on this roadmap? There's a lot going on here. Kliq mainnet. That was another one that was announced recently.
Yeah. So Kliq is an app that basically allows you to have a digital business card, eco-friendly via QR code. So basically saves all the trouble for businesses and people to share their contact details with one another, utilizing the storage of IAGON. We're going to be providing that free at RareEvo, so anyone will be able to sign up and basically use Kliq and kind of share their contacts. All you got to do is, hey, scan my QR code, and that's your contact details you're sharing with whoever you want to share it to, and all stored on IAGON, which is secure, private, and decentralized, right? So it's a great way to showcase the utility of IAGON. At the same time, for us, it'll powered by IAGON logo there, and help promote the awareness of IAGON brand and products more.
Okay, great. There's a lot going on the roadmap here, but any other aspects you wanted to focus on? I know I've thrown a lot of questions at you today. I do appreciate your time and all the answers.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, there's a lot going on, definitely. And I think the one thing that we're focusing right now on is decentralized compute and the staking, the marketplace, which is going to be released in September. Compute mainnet is also coming out next month to September. So we have a lot going on the next 2 months to release, and Kliq is going to be released this week on mainnet. So that's going to be showcased, and you can sign up and kind of register your contact details and share it with whoever you want to share it with. So look out for that this week.
Great. I think we covered a lot today. Hopefully people watching found it interesting. We definitely aren't going to leave it as long until we do the next one. I'm proposing after RareEvo, we catch up and kind of go through, maybe we'll do the hackathon with the project separate, but we'll do one looking at what's happened in August, maybe a bit more on the hardware stuff, because you will be talking about it at RareEvo as well. But anything else that we should have covered, do you think would be interesting for the community today, or have we covered it all?
I think we've covered most of the questions, and I think we've covered mostly everything that we could have in a short amount of time. But I mean, definitely we are open to discuss and answer most questions. So just if still there's some questions unanswered, just reach out to us. We're happy to answer it. Join our Discord or Telegram, or even message us on X. Be happy to answer those questions if there's something that you guys wanted to ask. Yeah, but I think most of the topics were covered.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot here. I will leave the links to the different socials down below for people that want to follow. I'm now going to go through this and try and put some timestamps back on it. There's a lot of different questions to cover. Just final one then from Crypto University, how to get the hardware.
I mean, the how to get the hardware. So we're going to release more details on that. And the plan is to have this page ready by RareEvo event. So when you are at RareEvo, you can sign up and pre-order the device right away. So that's the plan. Plans change, but that's hopefully going to be ready by then. So we'll announce it and just look out on the socials. Keep your notifications on Twitter, and we'll let you know.
Yeah, and hit the subscribe button here. I'll definitely tell you when they're out too. And just on it, will it be shipping worldwide or will it be specific regions?
It'll be worldwide.
Great.
Yeah.
I think we covered everything. If I missed any questions in the comments, I do apologize. We'll try and get them in the next time. I think I got most of them, but like Navjit said here, join the socials as well. As you can see from this, they're very transparent in answering any questions that came up here. And thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Subscribe, share this out, let people know what's going on with IAGON, and we'll talk soon. Navjit, thanks again for your time.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for listening, guys. Take care.
Cheers, guys.